Welcome, everybody. Episode 5, Elevate Above Fear podcast. I'm your co-host, Mr. Elevated, Jonas Russo. And today we have a very, very exciting, lively, special guest. Once again, for the month of March, we're going to be going all in on, it's Women's History Month, and we definitely want to showcase and broadcast powerful, strong, independent women, especially women of color who are doing amazing things in the community and out there in the world, period. So, I'm super excited about this episode. It's on a very sensitive topic, right? Which could be like breakups, right? Like relationships, period. Relationships is like taboo, right? Like you don't really talk about what other people got going on, right? Yeah, we're gonna talk about it real quick. So I'm gonna bring in my co-host real quick.
Hello, everyone. I'm just trying to share the live to my page as usual. I'm excited about we have Mss Francois, talk show host, entertainer. We've interviewed her before, but now we're bringing her back on because she has written a book and it's selling on Amazon, and it's called Let That Beep, Beep, Beep Man Go. So this should be really, really interesting.
Yeah, so if you don't know, you can grab the book, which is right here at I believe it's on Amazon where you can get it. It's 5+ steps to getting over a breakup, right? And I think it's something that a lot of us can speak on. Now, before we even get into all this, we're going to discuss. We're going to do like just a little intro, just so we can get a look. I do this all the time. We're doing it.
Whatever the case might be, the woman is thinking something else. She's getting hurt time and time again. Then you will finally reach this season, which most of the time is when you're like 40 and in some kind of crisis, and then you all are looking to settle down. And when someone hurts you, now you come on my show to tell me you're hurt.
If God is telling me, in order for me to have a faithful man, he has to be short, then I'll just be single. I'll really just be single. I'll just be single. You guys thought I was going to say. I just said I don't like a short guy. What makes you think I was going to change my mind?
She came out way lighter than I expected. Is that a baby? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's your baby? And I said, no, I randomly feed white children. Of course it's my baby.
I always crack up when I see that.
Here we go. Hello.
Hi, Mss Francois.
So we have the entrepreneur, the author, entertainer, talk show host. We can go on for days, but Mss Francois, it's really great to have you on our show again. How you doing?
I am amazing. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
So, real quick before we get into the book, I did mention that you have a talk show host and it's streaming in the Caribbean. Can you just speak on that a little bit more so people can know what it's about and how they can watch?
Okay, so my name, I like to go by Mss Francois. That's multi-talented and super sexy. So that's MSS. And the name of the show is the Mss Francois Show. I like to sum it up where we have a lot of candid conversations. I have a lot of entertainers, could be a lot of comedians, it could be singers, could be poetry. And the rest of the half an hour is I have a guest on. And basically the show is we use humor to help others deal with their dysfunctional relationships. So that sums up the show entirety, but the best part about the show is me because of my amazing personality, of course.
And where can people watch it?
I'm located in New York, so in all the boroughs, it's even in Boston and DC, it's a lot of community channels and 22 Caribbean countries.
Wow, that's quite a bit.
Damn right it is. That's not easy to do.
So, in your bio, we know that you won the what was it? The 46.
Toastmaster Humorous District 46 Humorous Speech Competition.
That I should have had that out here exactly.
It's okay, I forgive you.
Thank you. So, how has that helped to propel you to where you're at now?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So I'm part of Toastmasters, and I like to always big up Toastmaster International because a lot of people have no idea what that is, but it's a place where you can go. Is a lot of public speaking. You get to learn leadership skills, and it's all over the world. It's huge, right? So I started in about 2014, but I was always nervous and I never spoke. In 2016, I entered a competition, but I didn't know how far I would get. I just thought I was doing something within the club. And I had a speech called, well, I renamed it. It's called Steve Harvey Can't Find Me a Man, because I mean, if he can't find me a man, what are the chances I'll get one? Hence, I'm still single, just got out of breakup. So with that said, I entered into the competition, go all the way to the top. I was out of like 250 clubs. It have like 7,000 people in total. And I won humorous speech competition in all of New York just by telling people my business that I couldn't find a man. Isn't that awesome?
Wait a minute. Jonas, do you have that clip?
I can get it. Yeah,
oh yes, we got to show that clip. It was hilarious, and
thank you.
I know that propelled you to do the one woman show off Broadway. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So the cool thing is, because of that, I had a 5 to 7 minutes clip of that. And when someone had just mentioned to me, I'm someone that if you mention an idea, I just naturally run with it. I'm known for following through, which most people are not good at. So someone said, why don't you have a one-woman show? And I'm like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But I knew about Whoopi, so I did like some research, read some books, sent out God knows a bunch of emails and stuff. And someone told me about United Solo, that they have one of the largest single performer shows in the entire world, actually. And they accepted it. The funny thing is I didn't even write anything yet. They accepted the clip. And they assumed I already had a show. So I had to go to work on writing about an hour-long show in order to get to be able to perform it. And I had like 2 sold-out shows, and it turned out to be freaking amazing. And the best thing about this whole journey is the fact that I took my pain and made it my purpose. And all the stories that I'm telling is either past relationships or how I have felt, or even people I know how they have felt. And, you're angry, you're sad, you're confused when you're in a relationship, and that's all I've been doing basically.
So one of the main things you brought up is you telling people your business, right? That could be scary, right? Because we've been taught that, like, you don't tell people your business, right? Like, you keep your pain and your hurt to yourself, and you show the world a good face. And I think that is super powerful to actually like be vulnerable, right? To say like, hey, look, I've hurt before, I'm going through this. So I think that like what got you to that point where you were able to elevate above that fear, right? Like of being able to actually go out there and tell people your business.
So I think the first thing is I add humor into everything. So a lot of the stories I was telling people just assume I was being funny. So they didn't even realize I was actually telling them my business unless you ask me or something. But a lot of times people would come up to me and be like, oh, that happened to me. Or I read that relationship book, so forth and so on. And as I continue doing what I do realize is at the same time you're helping someone, and I was helping myself heal. So in that aspect, sometimes when you keep all your business to yourself, honestly, you're just messing yourself up mentally, spiritually, in every which way. That's not healthy for you. So in my way of putting it out there and even using humor, it makes it much more easier to deal with. And I'm helping someone.
Sometimes it's like confusing to figure out whether you're being serious or not. Because I remember, I don't know can I talk about the Snap? Was it Snapchat? It was one of them.
Yeah, sites. You can talk about anything. I mean, I ain't showing my vagina on the TV or nothing.
Mss Francois posted a video on TikTok. It was TikTok. And then she was like, like emotional, talking about a breakup. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know if it was for real or if it was a joke. And then I texted her, I was like, you okay? She's like, damn, I posted it on TikTok because I don't have that much followers. I didn't think you were gonna damn you or whatever. So
No, that was 100% real. You know, and even the other persons got upset, like, oh, why are you posting that or whatever. But one of the things that I have something else to post to is, if you're with me, if you're my boyfriend or husband, I was Miss Francois before you met me, and I'll be Miss Francois after you leave or I get rid of you, whatever. But the thing is, you gotta understand that's part of who I am. So the good news is I'm not the one to go out there and believe, and John told me this and I can't stand him and his mom ain't no good. I'm not that kind of person. I would never do something to mess up someone's reputation or something like that. But mine is all about how I'm feeling, and I'm allowed to express how I'm feeling and however I choose to, regardless if someone agrees with it or not. That's me. That's how I'm going to deal with it. I really don't care what anybody else think.
Well, I definitely think that that's a major component to like getting over any type of fear, right? Is the fact that just really saying F it or screw it, like I'm doing it, and however you feel about it is how you feel about it. So we do have a couple comments in the comment section. One saying that she learned how to elevate her business into her purpose, right? So what do you think about that?
That she personally learned to do her.
No, you. I get.
You.
She was saying this about you.
Oh yes, because that's what I said. That's what along the way. That's what I realized. Because all this hurt. Who would have thought? I don't know anything about media or TV, nothing like that. I wanted to be like a designer, designing clothes, and for me to even be here from 2016 to that one little speech to now. I myself, even today, when I attended an event today, and they're like, Miss Francois, and I'm like, oh my God, that is me. So I'm glad that I turned something really bad and really sad into something positive. But I was also hoping in the journey, I got a man in this at the same time, but I'm still single. I don't understand what the frick.
So something coming.
In due time. So now let's talk about the book, because this is all tied in and all related. And the name of the book is Let That Beep Beep Man Go.
Okay, I didn't know it said beep beep. I have to check that.
Well,
like, let that beep beep man go.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Right. Let that expletive man go. Right. Steps to getting over a breakup.
I want to know. First of all, I want to know what's the 5 steps to getting over a breakup, and I want to know, when did you come up with this, and did you use it in your last breakup?
Okay, so thank you for 10 questions in one, okay, Oprah? But first of all, I want to make sure people understand with the book title, right? So it's my whole thing with putting that gesture in the middle is because people, when you get out of breakup, you're not happy, like, oh, yeah, we broke up. You're angry. And I left that out because I wanted people to feel however they were feeling. Let that shitty man go, let that effing man go, whatever that person was feeling at that time. That's what I wanted to express. As far as the 5 steps, oh, Jesus, Lord have mercy. Girl, I've been using like 2 of those steps like crazy the last month, because I wanted to kill somebody. But anyway, as far as the 5 steps goes, the first one is clean house. And I named them all according to what I wanted to name it, because a lot of people see it like, what the hell, clean house? I don't want to clean nothing. But the clean house part had to do with, we hold on to so much stuff. Like me, I am into pictures and videos, and I'm very sentimental to like little writings on cards and stuff like that. And then every 2 seconds, like after the last dude recently, now I could talk about him because that's totally over. Because before, I always tell people, don't talk about the person until you're really, really sure it's over, because you don't want to look stupid, you know? But I'm sure it's over, so I can do whatever. But it's to get rid of all those things. And I always, at the same time, one of the things in the book, I'm like, don't go crazy burning stuff and then say Mss Francois to burn nothing. But still be smart. Make sure you give him some time to pick up his stuff. Send a little text or email. Don't call him, because he'll stay on the phone and you'll be having sex the next day. So to avoid that, Send a text,
No call, text.
give him a time to pick up his stuff. He most likely ain't gonna come because he think, oh man, I need that shit. That's fine. The point is when the police come to arrest you, you show that you give him time to pick the stuff up, and he did. No, with the stuff, you need to get rid of it. I don't. So everyone does something different. I made some money off of mine a few years ago. Because I sold some stuff. So it's up to you if you want to give some, but you need to clean house and separate, get rid of those things. Otherwise, every 2 seconds, you're going to be looking at it. So that's step number one.
So hold on, real quick, right? So, if you're in a relationship, you're in a long-term relationship, and you've gathered some things over a period of time, and you get rid of everything. How does that, because at some point in time, those things meant something to you, right? So, like, what's the fine line of just like getting rid of everything?
So I ain't to be stupid. Okay, so for instance, I have a big screen TV. I ain't getting rid of that. But I think my thing is, what I'm saying is some things you hold an emotional attachment to more than other things. I had a very expensive phone that I had no problem looking at it and dialing a phone number. But if every second I'm going to look at the phone and go, I can't believe, then that's a problem. So that's why I tell people just, I haven't like background, but
I have a question. What you do when you look at the kids? If you have kids with the person,
right? That's when you have to talk to a therapist. I didn't say I was a therapist. And if you read the book, I mentioned certain things. That I'm not a therapist or psychologist. I'm not the pastor or the deacon. Certain things you're gonna need a next level up.
I like that.
I didn't get the book yet, but I'm going to purchase it while we're on this live.
Awesome.
Go ahead, go through the rest of the steps.
So first step is cleaning house.
Yes. Second step is church. And I put that in, I named it church on purpose so people, all the atheists could be like, oh my God, I don't believe in God, I believe in the universe. That's your problem. This is my book, I could write what I want. You don't have to read it. So, but my whole church, again, is just not saying to go to church, but mine was more, it could be for you, it might be meditation, but the whole point of church is sometimes when you get down on the knees or you pull out that Bible or you start to pray to God, whoever you want to call him, that's your business, but it's God. You have that center, you have that relaxed moment, you like in a Zen moment. So I said I also added inside the church section, if somebody wants to do meditation or yoga, whatever gets you in a calm place at that point in time, you need that. So for me, it's church. I need to go, hallelujah, Jesus, thank you, God, and all that stuff. That centers me. So whatever centers you, go for it.
Okay, so whatever centers you, I like that, right? So whatever centers you, right? Because I think a lot of times when you say church, that people could, or spirituality or whatever, right? Like I get it. Whatever gets you in a place where I'm good right now. Like for some people, it might be, running or mowing the lawn or something of that nature. So whatever centers you. We have another comment right here where they say, don't give it all away. We want them to purchase it. So,
believe me, it have a lot more stuff in there.
I figured that because that was my first thought. Like, does she want to talk about these 5 steps? She probably have a lot more stuff in the book.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I hope that means she bought her copy then, right?
Let's ask. It's Miss Santana. Did you buy your
copy? Clean house, step 1. Step 2, church or whatever centers you. Step 3.
Link with the right friends. No, not the one that's gonna have you drinking and oh my God, girl, you just need to get another man and have sex with him and forget about that ex. Not those.
Oh, so that's not on the list.
No, I don't want link with the right friend. You need the right friends, the one that's gonna listen to you. I would rather, someone that listens, the friend, girl, this is what you need to do. Shut the hell up. You can't even keep a man yourself. Why are you giving information? Like, I can't stand, like, for instance, the main person I have that I talk to is my confidant. His name is Quentin Meserton. I love him, but we're not like that because he come with 5 kids and a wife and no thank you, right? But with him, I could talk to him. He listens. And again, I'm talking to someone who's been in a relationship for over 20 years with 5 kids. That's someone that could give you the right advice. Not the one that have 5 different kids by 5 different baby men or whatever. None of them married. Like, no. And you could trying to tell me how to run my life. And most of the time when you go through a breakup, just shut up. You need friends that are just going to listen. You need to cry, roll around the floor, get naked. You just need to pour. No one really wants any direction at that point in time. They're hurting.
I think that's actually a really good point, right? Like, we're not always looking for an answer, right? We just need you to be there, you know, and we may not know what we need from you, right? But we just need you there. We might need you to go want to get some gym at 3 a.m, or you understand, like whatever the case may be. Like, I can't tell you exactly what I'm going to need, but I know I'm going through some things right now, and I need, you know, a lending ear. I think too often people get in a space where they're uncomfortable, so they just want to fix it, and
right. Everybody wants to fix it. Like, I remember I helped you and I told you what to do. No.
Right. That I was gonna say that. Like, and then throw back stuff in your face. You remember the time when I told you that this was gonna happen if you did this and blah 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 blah, and I told you, like, you're not trying to hear that.
Exactly.
You know, because I mean, we all, at the end of the day, right, as far as relationships are concerned, right, everybody can say what it is they want to say, how they want to say it, right, but every situation is unique to that couple, right, and if, you know, whatever they're dealing with is what they're dealing with, and I really agree with that a lot, right, like, you want to be around the right people, and especially you don't want to be around people who are going to be judgmental, right? Like, you know, because that can just take you to a whole nother level, because you're already down, right? You're already feeling bad, and you know you messed up, right? Like, it's like, okay, I know, okay, we all see it now, right? Yep, this is what was going on, right? You were right, but now's not the time, right? Like,
right, exactly.
Give me some time. So I really do I do like that.
All right, thank you.
All right, so what's that?
Number 4.
That was number 3. That was number 3. So now we're on number 4. I have it called Passion Project, which is basically what it says. A lot of times in relationship, especially women, we're catering to that other person a lot. And I find myself, like me, for instance, I love hard, right? When I love hard, I do everything. I just want, I think I get joy out of seeing the other person happy. So that's where I get my joy from. But at the same time, certain things, as in females especially, we forget to do certain things. It could be whatever goals or hobbies and stuff you wanted to be focused on, or you was focused on before the relationship. Now you're all into this person. So it's like somewhat of a distraction, but it's a positive distraction because it's something you wanted to do. So in case you wanted to learn a sport, or so maybe you wanted to start a business, and when this relationship started, you was unable to for whatever reason because you was pouring so much into the other person. Sometimes it's time to refocus back on yourself and things you want to accomplish.
Now, to me, that sounds like a great step while you're in a relationship, right? Like, I think that's super important while you're in relationships, to do the things that you want to do, right? Like, whatever the thing is, right? Like, if you, I don't know what women like doing, if you like knitting, right? Like, to take an hour or 2 out of your week to knit some shit. You feel me? Like, I feel like
knitting. What, you dated a lot of old people? What?
I mean, I don't know. You know, it's whatever. Whether it's painting, if you like into sculptures, if you're into
cooking,
fashion, whatever the case. I said knitting, right?
Doing TikTok videos, dancing.
My bad. Yep, you're right. But whatever that thing is that brings you the joy outside of that other person, because I think so many times it's like, oh, it brings me joy to make him happy. Cool. You didn't know him 2.5 years ago, right? So what brought you joy at that point, right? And 2.5 years from now, you might not know him, right? So I think that is, I think that that's a really important thing for us all to do. I think a lot of times we get wrapped up, you get in a relationship and it's like, oh, me and this one, me and that one, picture, selfie, and all that's cool. But I think there's always a need for me time and the things that I like to do. So I think that that's very important, as you break up in a relationship, but also while you're in a relationship in order to prosper.
We actually had this conversation the other day, Jonas and I. He was making a point that a lot of times women, they do that once they get in a relationship, then, that the relationship they have with their close friends, it kind of falls off because now they're dedicated to husband or man, family. And then when something happens in that relationship,
They go right back to the friend.
yeah, or they're lost.
I mean, there should be a balance. It should be a balance, because honestly, if you don't have a man, you're going to be spending all the time with your friends. So to me, when you're in a relationship, it just should be a balance and an understanding. Your friends know I got a man now, so I'm not going to be hanging out like we were. But also your man know you have friends, so at times you're going to need to go out. So once these things are understood early, because sometimes what women do, we start 24 hours a day with the man. So when you finally say, "Oh, I'm gonna hang out with the girls," he's like, "What? Why? For what? When?"
Right.
Yeah. So it's up to you, and whatever you start in the beginning, that's what it's always gonna be. So know what you're doing.
Yeah. No, I've in my experience, it's been a lot like that of just women or just saying, okay, this is what I'm doing now, nothing else. And like, hold on, wait a minute. Didn't you have friends? Didn't y'all go out? Didn't y'all do things? Right? Because like, yeah, just go do something. B. You feel me? Like I just don't think it's healthy for any. I don't care if it's kids. Like people tell me that all the time, even with my kids. Oh well, you don't call your no. I don't want to talk to a 7-year-old or 8-year-old. Like I don't have much to talk to them about. When they here, I deal with them. You understand? And we have a great time, right? But you know, I think that it's very what's the word? I forget the word, but I think that it's good to have some space. You understand?
Yeah.
In each realm that you deal with, you know, whether it's your friends, you know, your significant other, your children, what you work, whatever the case may be. Because if one thing takes over too much, then I feel like that's where the burnout comes in, and you know, whatever the case may be.
Agreed.
That's it. All right. So what's the
The last one is volunteer, and again, some of the stuff is exactly what it says. A lot of times you gain joy from actually helping someone else, instead of you sitting down and be like, this happened and why me and all this crap, which we understand that, right? But sometimes if you stop to actually help something or do something for someone else, that actually brings you joy, brings a smile to your face. So instead of just focusing on your issues, why you don't try to just help someone? And you just have so many different ways you could help someone. Even if it's at your job and you buy coffee for someone in the morning, or just call a friend you haven't called in a long time. It's just, do or be something for someone else instead of you just wanting to tell your story to everybody over and over and have people feel sorry for you. But one thing I wanted to add though, like even in the book, I don't just go into the steps, because a lot of things I say before the book, which I'm not going to say all of what I say, but I want to make sure like people don't say, grab the book and be like, okay, what are the steps? It's more like you have to deal with certain things first. This part of it is taking responsibility for your part. It's always two people in a relationship. Some of the stuff is maybe you have to cry first, or you have to deal with certain things. So one of the things is, I don't want everyone like, yeah, I need to get this book, but then you're still sleeping with your man. That don't buy my book if you're still sleeping with your man. All right, that don't make no sense. I can't help you. You need therapy.
But you do, but you do need to go and get the book, though, right? Like if you haven't,
yes, they do get to need the book. But even in the book, I
go
said,
grab this book.
right. So you definitely need to get the book, because again, it could help any and everybody. And even if you're not in a relationship, maybe prepare yourself before. Not to say you're definitely gonna break up, but I mean, in the world we live in, especially young people in their 20s, and everyone is like, oh my God, I'm in love. And then 2 years later, I hate him, and then he put up stuff on Facebook and he look like an idiot. So the whole point is just get the book regardless. And if not for you, get it for your friend. You might need to borrow it at some point anyway.
That's a fact.
What are the 2 steps you say you've been using the most?
Oh my God, thank God. Quentin, I talk to Quentin 24 hours a day, and I don't know how that boy has time to listen to my stories, because he has 5 kids. Okay, between the ages of like 4 and 16 or something like that, and a wife. Thank God she don't get jealous. I love her too. But no, like seriously, like when the breakup first happened, I talked to Quentin all during. I don't think I was actually working at my job. I was on the phone all the time going, but why? I don't understand. And I did this, and he should have done this, and and he for a man, he listens. And sometimes I feel bad calling him. But when I get off the phone, and there's only certain people again you can talk to. You can talk to 3, 4 people, but just make sure they're the right people. And I don't call them friends. I call them confidants, because they're just a next level friendship that you could trust. You don't have to think the person going to throw anything back in your face. This is complete trust. Someone that I love and loves me and wants the best for me. Okay, you don't want to talk to the wrong guy because if you have a guy as a friend and he just trying to sleep with you, that ain't not going to help you. But
Right.
definitely talking it out, and him when he does speak, just reminding me who I am and the things I've accomplished and how far I've come. Sometimes you need reminders. Even if you're that person, you need reminders, and you
Mhm.
need a person to remind you.
Well,
That
I think we all do, and I think that's one of the misnomers is that that Beyonce gets up every day feeling like Beyonce. I'm 1,000% sure that there's some days she gets up and she feels less than
Yeah,
immaculate.
because we're all human. We're all a woman, especially as emotional creatures, and that's why I believe in coaches and mentors. Some people might need therapy. Some people need a confidant. Like I always admire, like Oprah always said, she never had a therapist because she had Gail and she had a TV show, and I totally understand what she's saying compared to Gail, who is her best friend, who had many therapists, and
Right.
everybody. I mean, every different things work for different people. I've tried the therapist route. By the time I get on with the therapist, I'm telling them all the problems wrong with me and how I could fix it. So it's never been a real help to me. You
And
know?
sometimes with the therapist is a hit or miss because sometimes they're like we had an experience. Like it's just sometimes it's a hit or miss. Sometimes they're not really giving you the right tools to get past what
Well, I
they
have
need to
tried
get
a
past.
few, and I think I've helped some of them.
Right.
But
I
that's
mean,
why I'm
I've
like,
always
huh?
go ahead.
So for me, as of right now, therapist is not the way for me. I work better with confidence that I trust and respect. Make sure it's the right words. It's not your regular friend that you're just talking, hey, who not that smart.
Right.
Or I have like a mentor also that's like a help. And I
Mhm.
have like someone does coaching. So technically it's a different kind of therapy, but everything works different. Different things work for different people.
You
So
got a
just because
team.
therapists work for you, that don't mean it's gonna work for me.
Right. But you got a team. Like that's what I'm hearing. Right. You got a team. It's like, look, I got coach here, I got this one here, I got that one, right? So whenever I'm feeling a certain way, I can, depending on how I'm feeling, I can go to somebody
Reach
on
out,
the team,
right? That I trust.
and to me, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's important. But I think that one of the most important things is not just that it's important during a breakup. I feel like everything that you've stated is applicable in the relationship, right? Like having people to go and speak to when things are going off the rails and having them help you to get back on the rails so that you don't go down the breakup route, right? I think that cleaning house, right? Like, okay, listen, look, we might have too much stuff, here. Let me
Yeah,
get.
stop smelling his underwear, that
Yeah,
kind of
let me
stuff.
get
Yeah.
rid of some of this stuff. Like even now, while we're in the church, I feel like it's all applicable while you're in a relationship. We have another question here, which I feel is a great question. I'm gonna let Shantae read this question because it's really long.
In my opinion, some people get into relationships without clear communication of what the relationship means for each other. Some want to build a home together, and others just want to play house.
Well, yeah, sometimes you just want to have some good sex. Hey, that's the world we live in. So again, it's knowing what you're getting into. And a lot of time, us females is more like, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be the best he ever had, and then it's gonna turn into a relationship. And I didn't know what the hell you talking about. But
Right.
Right, there's always those signs that females tend to ignore because they
girl,
want what, right.
you're talking to the person. I be seeing all kind of flags and I be confused. I'm like, what color flag is that? That's not a red flag. Maybe that's a yellow flag. So maybe I could try a little harder. So one of my issues, I see the flags and I just that's not a flag. And I'm
Mhm.
like, let me keep going.
I
And
think
I think one of my things that does end up stopping me, the good news is I don't I'm not like back in the day when you have long relationship. Plus, I too old to have no damn long relationship and then seen a bunch of fake flags. But this was like a short-term relationship. I saw the flags. Then I get a big stone in my head. I don't know, right? Then I shook, it hit me in the back of my neck, and I still was unsure. But it's amazing how God has a way of like, okay, I tried all the different things, but now I have to put this, like he put certain things to tell you, okay, you have to see this. So sometimes I go all the way till I get definitely thrown down and beat up. I had to get a black eye for me to see certain things. And the good news is I still see it in a shorter period of time that back in the day would have been long and drawn out.
Right. So, and that black eye is figuratively speaking.
Yes. Now, yeah, I want nobody talking about, oh my God, she's talking about me. No, I would not. Okay.
Well, that's all about having experience, being older and more mature, and just being more in tune with who you are than when you see
and stuffing it exactly as Maya Angelou says. Like soon as like people, this is what it is. If they show you who they are, believe them. But sometimes we see it, and then I have a thing too that I make up excuses for them. Well, maybe if I tried this and he did this, but sometimes certain things, if you talk it out and you're not seeing action, honestly, just keep it moving.
Right.
Definitely one thing I have definitely learned recently. Keep it moving.
What's his name? DMX, right? I know what we quoting DMX. He made a statement the other day where he said, and it's like the truest thing ever. He said, "I don't have time to not trust people or not believe you. Like that takes too much energy, right? Because now I have to counter what you're doing and try to figure that out X, Y, and Z." He said, "Just trust that people are who they are, right? Good, bad, or indifferent, right? Just trust that that's who that person is, and that's who that person will always be. So if that person is a snake, trust that they're a snake." Right? If that person is a backstabber or a thief, trust that they're a backstabbing thief, right? And now you know which ways to go and which ways not to go, and you know ways in which to navigate things, right? And if you feel and trust that that person is a good person, then now you know the paths which to go, and that will allow you kind of to take that level of ownership on yourself, right? To say, look, I made that decision based off of what you were showing me. Right, like what you were showing me was this. You could be the greatest person in the world, but everything that you've shown me is that you a dirtbag, and I'm cool, and I'm off here. I'm not trying to find out nothing different. So, that's my rant.
I just want to say I want to purchase the book now on Amazon. So when people go to Amazon, what do they have to type in exactly?
I said the easiest thing would be my name. I mean, there's different things you can type in, but the easiest thing would be my name. So if you type in Mss Francois, it would come up. It could be in books, but if you type in Mss Francois, it should come up. And just so you know, I have written 2 books, but that's the last one I just wrote.
What was the first one?
It's called Lights, Camera, Action. It's kickstarting your own professional TV show by investing in the Me In team.
Purchased. I'm getting it on Thursday. I know you can't see.
Make sure you screenshot it and send it to me. Thank you.
But even that, right? Like you're a 2-time author, right? So this kind of goes back into right now, I'm going to remind you of who you are, right? Like
go ahead, dude.
Knock it out. You're a 2-time author, right? Like in my life, I don't know many authors. You understand? Like that's not something that, so that's not something that I can say, oh, well, I know a ton of authors, and you've done it twice, right? That's an intimidating process, right? So,
is that why I'm single? Because I'm intimidating?
Well,
maybe you're a strong woman. Not every man can handle that.
And that just means I need a stronger man.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Well, that's a fact. I mean, because listen, that can be scary, right? Like, hold on, this woman, she has her own talk show. It's in 22 different countries. She got multiple books that she's authored, right? You just said that you about to, when we was off air, right? You said that, what you say, I ain't even gonna say it, but like we know some things that are to come, right? And as a man, it might hit your ego a little bit if you're not moving at the same pace. Even if you're saying, baby, it's okay, you're doing good, you cutting that hair real good.
So one thing I have, as I have dated different people, I have had guys I talk to, oh, I could handle that. And then two weeks later, oh, why you gotta put that on your social media, or why you gotta do that? Or one guy told me, oh, I feel like I'm just here to do nothing. But my thing is, it's amazing how people say, like, how I think it was Chantel, or I'm not sure, but they were saying, oh, you communicate everything in the early, but people communicate in the beginning. So sometimes they communicate in lies, or they believe what they're telling you when they honestly not ready for it, right? Because the last person I was with, they were all confident. Yeah, this is what they want. They're telling me what they want. So I'm like, okay, we're on the same page. But then they have certain things that they haven't accomplished or reached in their life. So they might be busy and they're not including me in that. So that means you're not ready. And one of the things my confidant always tells me, he's like, okay, Patrice, you have it together. You have accomplished a lot of things, or whatever the case might be. So I need someone who has already accomplished certain things, as in confident in who they are and even where they're going to continue to go. But that's not my fault. That's something you need to work on. Because I'm not the kind of person that'll be like, all men are bad or all men this and there's no man out there. I just need them to call me.
Well, I definitely think that, confidence is a major thing, right? So generally when you meet people, you meet their representative, right? So they speak very polite. They tell you all the things.
You meet me. I don't give a damn.
But most people, right, you're going to meet their representative, right? And it's not until you get into the minutia where they start to peel off layers and you say, hold on, that doesn't align with what you told me on our third date, right? Because they were trying to get to this point. And I think that it's important to kind of like unveil the person, right, as soon as possible, so that they can know, like, I see you and you've already seen me. I ain't gonna change. I am who I am. This is it. You understand? Like, that's me. I am who I am.
I think so. Like the last relationship, I think he tried. He like, I believe I can keep up. I believe I can do this. I just think he got a plate of food and put too much on his plate, and then he realized he couldn't eat everything. But now you dragged me into this thinking you could eat everything on a plate, and then you can't. And then if I'm saying maybe, take some time. No, we can do this. And then me seeing the flags is like, okay, maybe we can do this. And then I stay longer and then end up, I don't want to say waste time, but it is wasting time to a point because I saw the flags where I could have walked away even earlier.
Right. Well,
but like you said earlier, people, I think, not always, yes, you are meeting the representative, and in meeting that representative, I think people really believe, like you said, that's who they are. And a lot of times we don't even know who we are until we're in some of these intimate partner relationships, because whatever issues you had to deal with in your life, like traumas or whatever, all that stuff starts to come out in your intimate partner relationship. So it is a struggle, because I do believe that sometimes people believe they can be a certain way, but when put to the test, they can't stand up to that. So
and that I agree with 1,000%, right? Like I coach football, and I have kids come to me all the time. Yeah, I want to play football. I want to play football. I want to play football. Because they see the jerseys, they see the uniforms, they see what the other kids get, right, in terms of attention and notoriety in the school, right, from girls, from other, their peers, right. So I want to play football so I can get that. Okay, but now when you get on the football field and you realize the work that you have to put in to get that, it no longer seems like a fair trade, and you quit, which is why there's only usually a certain amount of people who play football, because you kind of got to be made for it. And once you go through that process, you're kind of going to get weaned out pretty quickly. So, and I definitely see that with relationships the same way, like, I want a relationship. I want this. I want that. I want this. And then it's like, okay, well, this is what it's going to take.
Right. And
it's
then
a lot of work.
To put that work in.
Exactly. And a lot of compromise.
Yeah, and it's two people. Sometimes people get selfish and they want what they want and they don't understand it's two people. Right. And that's where the communication always comes back in. And oh my God, I have some stories. Don't worry, the last relationship I might have 2 Broadway shows out of that shit.
That's what's up. Well, listen, that's the good thing, that you're getting material. Right, so
but I need to get pregnant and married. I'm tired of material. I want my material to change into I have a loving husband and here are all the kids. That's the next Broadway show. I don't want to be like, guess what? I'm 50 and and I'm on the show again, elevated.
But it might be when you're 50. That might be your time. You might have some
great.
things you need to do. I wouldn't look at it as a bad thing. That we have some people that have been in a relationship for years and years and years and years, and they're so unhappy because they got together and it wasn't the right time. This is your time to do what you need to do for you, and it'll happen when it happens. If it happens when you're 50, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think.
Anyway, so you know what my comment is to that? That is a bunch of doo-doo. But thank you. All right. You know what is a bunch of doo-doo? It sounds cute, right? It sounds cute. And again, it's according to who it's coming from. Now, you're not 50. You have a man and you have kids. Okay? So now you don't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. So this is my thing, right? I know how I feel. And maybe if someone else is 50 and they had that and they're like, girl, this is what happened. This is what made me sad. But I had to deal with A, B, and C. I might be 50 and just find the love of my life. And guess what? People say, well, you could adopt kids and blah, blah, blah. I get all that. That is really cute. And oh, that's so nice. I'm helping out society. But that is not what I want.
I understand, but what I'm saying, there's a side to both, and it's not easy for both sides. So don't think like, oh, the grass is greener on this side. You know what I'm saying? It's
right. But still, my grass dry. My grass dry. I know what the grass is here.
Look,
I want to see
I'm just trying to be encouraging.
Well, you're not doing a good job.
Sorry,
just mute her, please. Just mute her.
Zip it.
Shit. I've been on the same dry grass for the last how many years? I want to grow new grass. Let me see.
I feel like that's what forces people into being in unhealthy and unhappy situations.
But that's why I'm single. Because if at this age I gonna pick up a bunch of ish, that ain't gonna happen. It doesn't make sense that I've been single for this long, learning all this stuff, doing the personal development. Oh, I'm focusing on me. Oh my God, I'm a better person, all this crap. And then pick up some man on the side of the road who's selling water, and that's all he wants to do for the rest of his life. I know who is that a reflection on? And that's me.
That's a fact.
All right, but now I'm ready.
But my thing is
about my relationship. So check me in 2 months. All right, 2 months.
I mean, I feel like we attract what we put out there, right? So I feel like.
So you're attracting a bunch of losers?
No, I'm saying that
you're not even losers, Mss Francois. You might be needing to compromise a little bit more on certain things. I don't know.
Oh, so you're my therapist. You're about to have fight on life?
I love it.
Just let me make sure you know. Okay, I know what my faults are. I am very impatient. I have no patience. I want what I want yesterday. Right? That's something, again, we all have things we need to work on. Right? So that's my number one thing. I have no patience. If you say, oh, you're someone I could marry, you're supposed to go buy the ring. Don't tell me freaking that if you're not going to buy the ring, keep that to yourself. So that is my number one thing that I have to work on. Right? And I do love hard. But at the same time, I must say each person that I've dated or go forward, they are better than the last one. So obviously I'm doing something right and I'm heading in the right direction. So those are things I do pay attention to, thank God. What I need to do is once I see the red flags, I need to be able to walk away. I guess I'm scared that I walk away too early and it could have been something we could have compromised about and communicate about. So I try to compromise, communicate, and then I stay too long.
So for me, right, with family, right? So like that was always one. That's for me. That's my biggest thing. And people say like, "Oh man, you and your family, y'all taking these trips together. Y'all doing this, you doing that." But they don't understand just how difficult it really is, right? Like how me and one of my siblings had a falling out right as we were about to take off for the flight, right? Like how uncomfortable it really was. So you saw the pictures, you saw this and that, and it all looked. What I'm saying is that you get to a point where you realize, like, listen, I'm either rocking with a person or I'm not, right? Like that's it. Like I'm either you have your flaws and I'm gonna deal with you with your flaws and all, or I'm not. You know, and I think the sooner we get that understanding, like I know for me, for my family, like the ones who they got their flaws. I still got to deal with you, right? So I'm still dealing with you. But for most of the outside world, I'll cut you off and won't even think about you again.
Capricorn
you understand? like not even another thought. You understand? So I think when it comes to that understanding of oneself, to understand, all right, cool, what am I going to deal with? What am I going to tolerate? I think it becomes a little bit easier because there's no ideal situation, right? Like I think
Correct.
everybody tries to create that for us and tell us, oh well, if you meet them in high school and you meet somebody they don't know themselves. Like how the hell you dealing with somebody in high school and you don't know who you are in high school? You just like, so to tell me to marry my high school sweetheart, like that would have been dumb. You understand? Like going back and thinking about it now, right? And thinking about how many other experiences in my life I would have missed out on. And I think when you sit down and you speak to a lot of people who've done that, like there's a lot of regret that comes along with that. Now they'll tell you the other part of, I'm not even gonna keep on going down that.
Yeah. But real quick, so I saw that the Shade Room posted something, and it was, like a lot of times people be like, oh, look at that couple. Oh, they've been together so long. And couple goals, whatever the case. The Shade Room posted something which I thought was really interesting. So it was like half of the picture was the couple like kissing, like on vacation or something, and it was a picture for the gram. And then the other, what you don't see is like amount of debt. Okay, so like the man is buying the woman all this stuff, but you see the amount of debt. Or another one, they're hugging and they're somewhere eating, but half of her face is black and blue. He beating her, or
right, because people don't realize what's going on inside the house. And even same thing when people giving people advice, like someone was giving me advice about my last relationship. I said, all that's good and all that's valid points, but you don't know when we close the door, when me and that person is in there. You don't know if we're fighting. You don't know if we're, you don't know what's going on. You don't know the pillow talk that we're having. So that's what, and also people don't, just like they're on the gram, everything is just beautiful for everybody else to see. And that's why even when he was telling me, oh, why I'm putting this out there, I'm like, that's how I feel. There are times I post a nice picture and I'm feeling great about life. Sometimes I'm not feeling all that great about life. So we're all human. Why it is that it's so hard for us to show the human side or be honest about things? Because you're worried about what everybody's going to say about you. I think people might actually respect you more to let people, you know what, sometimes I'm in debt. I love this guy. We keep going, but we have fights. We have arguments. I had interviewed this Dr. George Fraser, which is like a big thing in the Black community. And he'd been married for 45 years. And he said for 30 of those years, he thought his wife was a nag. That's 30 years.
He thought she was what?
A nag. For 30 years out of the 45 years, until he realized it's just her caring about him and just trying to make sure he's fine. Even though he's like, did you put gas in the car? Did you do this? But she's doing it for, his own good. And it took him 30 years, So relationships is, oh, you all lost me?
No, you're there. We hear you.
So relationship is work. And just because things look pretty on the outside, it's not always pretty.
Wait, listen. So you know that guy, Derek Jackson?
Oh, God.
So he's always, you know who he is, Jonas?
Yes.
He's
I
haven't seen him lately.
I can't stand him. What is he up to?
He always putting out those clips about how to treat your woman or how to do right in a relationship. So there's a big scandal. He's cheating on his wife and having this whole big, huge affair on his wife. So, I mean, that just goes into what we were just talking about. Like,
but I didn't even like him in the first place because I think a lot of times the advice he give women is a little extreme. Like he's all for the woman, which is nice, but to me there's still a balance. There's two people in a relationship. So I mean, for him, I think he focuses on women because the woman buys stuff more than men buy stuff. But no matter what clip he dissects, it's always the woman is right, the woman is right. The woman is not always right. What the hell wrong with you? We have a lot to deal with.
Well, something is wrong because for him to be preaching like that and then come out with this whole scandal, I don't know.
Trying to make money.
But to me, it's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with him. Like to me, he's a regular human being, right? Like you're a regular human. You have an opinion, right? Keep your opinion to yourself. That's my opinion, right? I don't care how you feel, Derek Jackson, right? Keep your opinion to yourself. If you love your wife, and do that. But now when you come out here and you want to big up your chest and say, "Oh, this is what,"
and he does have a nice chest,
and then right, like once you do that, then what? Right now you're putting yourself on Front Street, so now you can't make a mistake.
But
now
that's the problem.
Exactly.
And
I'm not saying that he's wrong. I don't know. I don't know what happened in his
No,
relationship.
he's wrong for cheating on his wife. Yes.
Listen, I don't know what happened. I don't know what his wife
Yes,
did.
he
I don't
did,
know how
allegedly.
you understand? So, but what I'm saying is, all we know is that Derek Jackson, the woman lover, right? He is cheated on his wife, but we don't know what happened. But he will never get the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because you came out here and you conducted yourself as if you were holier than thou, not understanding the nuance of relationships and how things go. You know, so I'm sorry.
And I think, how old is he? He's like 30, maybe. He's not that old. I can't.
He's trying to sell. He's trying to sell something. You understand? So to me,
And that's my thing. He's selling, and I mean, he's the man in a lot of aspects. But again, so a lot of stuff he said, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. But you know what I don't understand with people is, when, even if I have a book and I'm giving advice, no one says it's the Bible. No one says, you know what I'm saying? When I read a book, still you have a mind of your own. Use your mind at the same time. But some people read a book. Like one time I used to call myself the Steve Harvey student, right? Because I'm like, oh, Steve Harvey said I got to ask you 5 questions. Steve Harvey said, what the hell? Steve Harvey had the understood wife. Yes, I love Steve Harvey though. Steve Harvey could do no wrong in my eyes. But again, even with that said, I'm not brainwashed that everything he said in the book, I supposed to take it as word is born. Right. So use your brain. If Derek Jack say, okay, all women, because sometimes he make women sound like everything a man do is wrong. That's how I got a lot of it. So I was like, it's a little too extreme. You know, you can't, you know, to me, at the end of the day, he's responsible for a lot of people breaking up and marriages that could be saved. He ruined it because you have women walking around thinking, I'm the prize, and you no need to tell me nothing. And Derek Jack said, no, it don't work like that.
Listen. The queen bee herself was out here telling people, "Ooh, to the left, to the left. If he cheat on you, to the left, to the left."
Oh, really? All of that gesture?
Yeah. And then when Hove went and did that, it was like, "Oh, yeah, but you know, we got a lot."
With the good hair.
You know, you understand? Like, so it's like, listen, like, whenever people have, and just like you have a book, right? You have something that you're selling, right? But you know, there's information in there that you can use, right? But none of it is the Bible. If Beyonce to tell you, if he ain't put a ring on a girl, you should leave him, and you do that, and now you're lonely for the next 30 years, and then
that's your problem. That's not Beyonce's problem.
Yeah, like you said earlier, Jonas, every situation is different. It's not a black and white thing. You can't.
And I think that's what a lot of people do. These are the rules. These are the 5 questions, and they go with it. Experience matters. Sometimes people like to say age don't, but sometimes age does matter because age sometimes brings maturity. Hopefully, not in all cases, but hopefully. But a lot of things matter. The individual you're with matter. They might be on the same page, and they might not be on the same page. So again, it all come back to work. And if 2 people decide they want to be together, understand it is going to have some work to do.
I love it. All right. So once again, right, we can find your book, Let That Man Go. 5+ steps to getting over a breakup. Amazon, right? We can find it on Amazon.
Yes, Amazon. And once you type in Mss Francois, my 2 books come up. You can definitely get that.
Wonderful. And so where can the people find you at, social media wise?
Right. Social media, I always tell people, every social media platform there is, I am there. So if you, I don't like Instagram, Facebook. I don't like Instagram, YouTube. So I don't like that. I want to do TikTok. I'm on everyone. Just type in MSS, multi-talented and super sexy Francois, and you got me.
Got it. So right here we have you at Facebook at Mss Francois.
Yes, correct.
We have you on IG with the _.
Yes.
And then if you go to YouTube, it's all the same thing. So you know you can't miss her. She's extremely entertaining. You know, and you do those TikToks pretty well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wonder, like, how do you get the energy to, you know, like you really, like some of them, like you really choreograph them and you know them like word for word. I'm like,
and this is what I tell people, right? sometimes you could see something that's 13 seconds long and it might take me an hour to get it right. The only good thing I must say about TikTok, that was something I was never interested in at all. I ended up doing it by accident because I was home by someone's house and I was stranded for 4 hours, so I just played with it. And I was like, oh, this is not as complicated, because in my mind it's just for the kids. But I find that I started just having fun with it, and I had so many relationship stuff, and it still coincides with the things that I'm doing, and it actually brings me joy. Like sometimes I'm laughing so hard when I'm doing some of them. So
Yeah.
honestly, I do TikTok because it's more fun, and if it wasn't fun, I would just stop doing it.
That's what's up. And we actually have Courtney here who says that the entertainment factor is huge, right? And
Yeah.
so that's a beautiful thing. So Ms. Campbell, anything else?
No, but
All right.
side note, I have a side note.
All right.
Jay Slay has these amazing keychains where it's a protection kit.
Go
For
get
when,
it.
if you got to take the train, you're walking alone, going to the supermarket, anybody comes at you, you got your mace, you got your little juker.
That's cool.
I'm not promoting violence, but sometimes you walk to the
Self-defense.
station, right? This is alarm. It's extremely loud. I'm not going to turn it on for you, but trust me, it's extremely loud. There's a whistle and there's a little flashlight. If you go to Jay Slay on Instagram, you can purchase one. They have many different colors. Pink,
So
lime green.
Different ones? Okay.
It's different colors. They have pink, lime green, yellow, white. Really, really, really cool. I take the train to work, so.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
And I get on a train at Parsons, and every day my Citizens Citizens app is going off. So.
It's definitely a dope self defense.
And Jay Slay is Jay?
JAYSL.
Oh, Lord. Well, put that up there. You want people to put it up there, because I'm like, I need to get something myself. So.
Yeah, so y'all can find that. What is it? Is IG?
Yeah, let me just double check real quick before I give out the wrong information.
No.
Oh yeah, it's just J Slay SLAY _ co.
Oh, just the letter J.
Yes, just the letter J.
Well, you're welcome, Jay. I got your back, Jay, to make sure you go to the right thing. Okay?
J _
No, J Slay. So just the letter J and then SLAY _ co.
All right. Well, let's get it up there. All right. So
awesome.
Instagram, go to JSlay _ co. Go copy your self-defense kit, ladies. Right, especially getting off at the junction. Anywhere that's named the junction. Anywhere that's named the junction, you need one of these, right? So whether it's Broadway Junction, whether it's Jamaica Junction, any junction, if you get off at that stop, you need one of these.
And this is just to make it cute. So people, if you're carrying it, they're not going to think it's a
juker.
Yeah, they're not going to think they could get hurt because it got a cute little.
So when I contact Jay, I said, "Say, can I have the juker?
Can I have
the juker set?"
No, we need the self-defense set. Hey, please, guys, don't forget, if you're on here, please don't forget to go cop the book. Let that man go. 5+ steps to getting over a breakup. It's very informative, informational book, and I think that you guys will get a lot from it. Please go and follow Mss Francois. She's doing a lot of beautiful things. We appreciate having you. It's been a pleasure as always.
Yes, it's always fun.
This was good. All right. So it was fun. Elevator Above Fear, episode 5 podcast is in the books. We out on you. Peace.